From the Live X Studios in New York City, CHTV brings you two guys who like to think they know something about football.
Good evening, Packers fans, and welcome back to Packer Transplants Live. I am Aaron Nagler, and joining me, as always, is my co-founder here at CHTV, Mr. Corey Behnke. I'm coming to you live literally from my bedroom. Corey joins us across the street from Lambeau Field, and we are ready to talk some Packers. What do we have on tap tonight, Corey?
Tonight, we enjoy another beatdown of the Bears and try not to worry about the Bucs. But right now, it's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. We got the good. We got
Aaron Showtime Jones.
We got the bad. We got
Run defense.
We got the ugly. We got
Bears fans chirping all week long, talking about, oh, here we come, ready to take things over, ready to take the North, and oh, guess what? We still suck. Welcome back, Bears fans. Welcome back to reality. And welcome back, Corey Behnke, to Packer Transplants Live. How are you, buddy? Good to see you again after our week off last week.
Yeah, doing good. Got a win. Busy week.
Got the W.
Lots to go. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's start with your favorite and mine. It's the segment we live for, really. It's the hotness. Let's roll it. Let's go. Oh, baby. Love it. Love it. Missed it last week, but it's back. It's the hotness. And look, there were plenty of ways we could have gone this week with the hotness. Plenty of plays, plenty of worthy moments, but I think everybody knows what it had to be. After it kind of took Twitter by storm, still kind of popping up on Instagram, this is the hotness. It's Kenny Clark committing murder on a football field. Let's roll it, Nicholas. Let's look at this. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, hide your wife, hide your kids. Kenny Clark is coming to destroy you. This is a Reggie White move. Look at this. Hump move extraordinaire. That, my friends, is the hotness. I tried to look for other stuff because it seems so obvious because everyone was talking about this play. But you're talking about the hotness?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot get better. You can't get better. Even on a night where we saw Jair Alexander get his first interception. We saw Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon taking over. Kenny Clark was the hotness. Has to be.
The only thing that comes close for me is the A.J. Dillon block in the end zone. But
right. That's what I mean. Like on the sweep, yes, 100%. Totally agree. That was definitely in the running, but
in the mix.
Kenny Clark laying waste. You can't
in the mix.
In the mix, as they say. All right, Behnke, you know what time it is now. We've done the hotness. Now it's time for Packers news. You got to eat your vegetables. We got it. Got to do the stuff and the things for the people to let them know, keep them informed. Although we are going tonight on a Tuesday, which is a day earlier than we normally go. So there isn't a whole lot of Packers news because usually on Wednesdays they get back on the practice field. We get updates. We hear from Aaron. Like none of that has happened yet. So it's a little truncated this week on the old Packers news. And since we weren't around last week, we get to update people on the Bakhtiari plan. Starting us off with Matt LaFleur saying that if and when, and I'm going with when, Bakhtiari does get back out there, they will not be practicing David 2 days in a row ever again. I mean, I get it. I understand it. But boy, howdy, it better work. And I hope we see David out there on Sunday. And I won't be surprised if he's not out there because at this point, all you can do is have what Matt called this past summer. No expectations means no limitations. But that's the Bakhtiari plan. He's basically on a big dog schedule. Got to give him that veteran rest, give that knee a rest. So we will see if Bakhtiari is out there tomorrow. I suspect he will be, and then not on Thursday. Then, of course, the big news, which kind of dropped yesterday. And as of today, right now, live, I am not sure. I know that he's heard his appeal, but Mike Evans suspended for Sunday's game against the Packers after the fracas in New Orleans with the Saints and Lattimore, etc. No word yet that I know of. Now, maybe someone in the YouTube chat will update us, but I don't think there's been an update as far as the appeal and if there's a decision there. I know there's all sorts of drama about the fact that Runyon's dad is the guy who laid down the suspension, and now there's a famous buck that is the one who hears the appeal, etc. These are men of integrity. We know that things. I don't know what I'm talking about, but we'll see. I would be shocked though if Evans wins this appeal. I mean, what's he going to say? What could possibly be the defense in that meeting with the NFL? Like, he said some real mean stuff, and so I had to come off the sideline and absolutely clobber him. Like, what? And you've got history. This is the other thing. This is not the first time this has happened. This happened back in 2017. So, yeah, I'll be very surprised if he wins that appeal, but I've been very surprised before. Next up on Packers news, just because I got to keep Corey abreast of everything going on personnel-wise. Packers signed inside linebacker DQ Thomas and let Travis Fulgham go. I know, Corey, you're a big practice squad wide receiver fan. So Travis Fulgham no longer in the mix. Now twice an ex-Packer after his first stint a couple years ago, once more on the chopping block. And then finally, the Packers seemingly caught up in some kind of electronic fracas, having to give out refunds after double charging people at the concession stand on Sunday night. I mean, it sounds like this was a very systemic thing, like a company that had a malfunction.
Yeah, there were other sports teams that were impacted.
But kudos to Rich Ryman for being all over that story, having it up on PackersNews.com, and good on the Packers for recognizing it early and making sure people got their refunds post haste.
But apparently another piece of Packers news that nobody else.
This didn't make the script, but we learned about it on the old Patreon happy hour. So thanks to everyone.
I learned about it from Kyle Cousineau, and I just was like, I was kind of surprised about it that nobody else picked it up, but apparently Don Mikowski picked it up as well. So Kyle Cousineau and Don Mikowski reporting that the Go Pack Go was not played for the first time at Lambeau Field on Sunday. In a long
living
time,
memory. Let's say it.
Living memory. I mean, I've never been to a game that wasn't played. In my life.
I've been on this earth 49 years. They ain't never not played it.
So it's at least 30 or 40 years. We have reached out to the Packers for a comment, but we haven't heard back.
No statement forthcoming from 1265 Lombardi.
I will
say that this is egregious.
I have a good idea who got rid of it, though. I'm going to put my finger on who I think got rid of it, and yeah. So I don't know. You know, the messages are mixed on Twitter. There's some people that 80% of the
Twitter,
people that respond.
I love it.
Are like,
it's like
I can't believe that didn't happen. Somebody was like, I was really drunk and I didn't notice, and it's like, bro, right. Really?
Maybe that was literally the meeting they had in marketing for the Packers or the game day.
But here's the thing:
they were like,
maybe
they're drunk anyway. They don't know.
Maybe the other thing. Jeff Bollier responded on Twitter to me. Very famous news reporter for the Green Bay Press Gazette.
Very famous. Yes.
He hit me up. He was like, you know what? Coincidentally, even though people were trying to start the wave was not performed. So maybe there's some correlation between Go Pack Go chants and the wave, and maybe they were trying. It's like spreading an herbicide. You're just like, oh well, if we get rid of Go Pack Go, we'll knock the wave, and no jump around. Which, to be fair, jump around is a Wisconsin Badgers thing.
Yeah, I don't care.
And no one cares. All I think about with jump around is a bad time in my life, and then Badgers fans. And so, yeah, and no, I don't care about Badgers fans. My least favorite,
and I don't care about jump around in relation to the Green Bay Packers. My
least favorite time, and this is not true necessarily, but I love Packer home game. I love Packer home game weekends. I'm going to say that, right? 100%. But Saturday, when everybody's wearing red, just fucking shoot me, okay? Just shoot me. I'm literally across the street from Lambeau, and there's all these fucking people wearing red. And I'm just like, who are you? Nobody cares. Go to Madison. Go somewhere else.
All the people wearing red care. That's the point. They care.
It's so annoying. I hate it. The other thing that I found out, and I know no one cares on this podcast, but right. I found out from a reputable source, and I didn't go to school here in Wisconsin. I found out that Green Bay was two votes away from being the capital of Wisconsin. It's an incredible historical fact. Yes.
What?
The person who told me that is a very reputable figure. I did not look it up, but the person who told me is literally, I can't say who it is because I'm not going to reveal my sources, but they are very high up in the administration of Green Bay, Wisconsin. But and I got it confirmed by another source. Look
at you committing an act of journalism, finding a second source. Amazing.
I could have just looked it up on Wikipedia, but how crazy is that if you think about it? Like, can you imagine? And honestly, if you really think about it,
world would have been a very
if you think about it, right? Green Bay actually makes the most sense for being the capital of Wisconsin. It's kind of crazy. Like Madison's in the middle of freaking nowhere, central Wisconsin. Green Bay's in the literally is the second oldest settlement, second oldest European settlement in the country. It's got one of the most beautiful harbors. It's got 72. I mean, it's just got a lot going on.
You know what I'm saying? The harbor leading to the Great Lakes, leading to the ocean. Like there's a pathway.
That's a capital, baby. That's a capital.
I feel you.
Madison. Now I got a new job in life. I got a new goal in life. Get that capital moved back.
Wrest away the capital of Wisconsin.
Can you imagine? Green Bay? Can you imagine if somehow
Packers website co-founder
and I became like a Jeff Bezos type? Because, like, could you, if you had Jeff Bezos' money, I bet you could basically spend like 10 years and try to make it happen. You could buy enough politicians to make it happen, probably.
Well, keep making
enlist the Green Bay Packers.
Keep your nose clean.
Enlist the Green Bay Packers. Get a couple governors hired. Get some senators hired. Use some of that corrupt money for good. Come on.
Hey, speaking of corrupt money, we'll get to that later in the program.
Hey,
let's talk about the offense, shall we? Let's get back to football.
Foreshadowing. I know you like that. Yeah, that's good.
Love it so much. Offense. There's a new identity in Green Bay, or at least there should be. I mean, we saw, hopefully, perhaps, maybe, a glimpse of it on Sunday night. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is what the Green Bay Packers in 2022 should look like. That is a team that should feature Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, and everyone else should be there to support that vision. Everyone else should be flowing off of that. I mean, that is how this team needs to play football on offense.
Yeah, I hear everything you're saying. Okay. I support the vision, Nagler, but vision ain't nothing without execution. So that was very beautiful last night. But
no doubt.
According to Aaron Rodgers, I'm just going to bring this little stat up that I saw on today's show, and Pat McAfee. Some of you might watch this. I watched it.
Here's the
very
benefit of going on a Tuesday night is that Behnke has watched Aaron Rodgers on McAfee, and he can bring the goodness from Rodgers' interviews because I don't watch McAfee. So.
Nagler. Like Aaron Rodgers, I do my own research, okay? So, here we go. So, I did that on purpose, actually.
That was perfect.
So he was asked, so Aaron Rodgers was asked, hey, is every play that you go out there, you got one run and one pass that you can decide on? And Aaron was like, no, that's not true. And he said 40 to 50% of all the plays are like that, where he comes out, he picks a run or a pass. But then I thought this little nugget, was really important. This is like into the mind of Aaron Rodgers, okay?
Right.
Is he did go on to say, so this is a separate fact, okay? I know I'm throwing some percentages at people, and I know it's hard to keep up. I get it. So a separate fact from that 40 to 50% of like not all of his plays, but half of them. So roughly then he said, of all of his audibles, right? So Aaron Rodgers, being Aaron Rodgers, 3-time MVP, potentially 4-time MVP,
4 times, sir.
No, 4 times, potentially back to back. 4-time, potentially 5 times. Sorry, I was thinking of Brett Favre. That's a more foreshadowing. So potentially 5-time MVP, potentially 2-time Super Bowl winning champ Aaron Rodgers. He is allowed to audible at any time. Okay, let's just do this. So Aaron Rodgers he keeps a stat for himself, and he has kept a stat saying that 60% of Aaron Rodgers' audibles are successful. That's a quote. So Aaron Rodgers, has to be very careful about getting that number down. I'm saying?
Right. About
So
not
when you
getting
think
that number
about
down, making sure that he holds
making sure
that
that number
60% threshold
for a
at
couple
least.
reasons that he brought up, right? One of the reasons is, if you use it and you lose it, right? So that I totally
Matt's
get,
not going
right?
to give you as many can calls, right?
No, you get no chances, right? If you can't prove on the numbers. And but the second reason is a very Aaron Rodgers reason. And this is why I know that there is a point here. This is why I get back to the script on new identity. I will trust the Packers' new identity when I see Aaron Rodgers buy in. And you saw that last night when we were successful. But you got to wait until we're behind. You got to wait until, there's some disadvantageous football operation things that happen.
They were behind at one point on Sunday night. But not like by 2 scores, though.
This is the fundamental problem that I have. Like, I love that we have Aaron Rodgers and we have this amazing leader, but I do believe that it is very difficult as a coach. And we've said this on the show before, but it's more and more we're going down this rabbit hole of how hard is it as a head coach in this league when you have a superstar who can basically call any effing play he wants, right? How do you change the identity of your offense? You don't. The identity of your offense.
Wait a second. Now,
I'm telling you.
I hear what you're saying, but to his own point, it's not. He doesn't have that freedom on every play. In fact, I'll never ever forget at the end of the Panthers game a couple years ago where he took a not so subtle shot at the fact that he didn't have the freedom to change a play. But regardless, to your point, yes, I hear what you're saying. The game plan gets put in during the week, and he has input to that. And Matt himself said on Monday he's never called so many running plays, right? Like, he couldn't remember a time in the 3+ years now that he's been in Green Bay. He can't remember calling as many runs as he called on Sunday night. And they sure seem to lean into the running game. So it would suggest that Rodgers, at least for Sunday night, bought in. But now, to your point, what happens when you're down 10 in the second half? Because that's where they've seemingly gotten trouble, right? Where they've wanted to get everything back. But I don't just put that on Aaron. I put that on Matt as well. You know what I mean? Like, that's them in tandem. They work together.
I hear you. When you talk about new identity, I'm in trust but verify mode.
Yeah, dude. And I do not think there's a Packers fan who would convict me. No, 100%.
Because let's be honest, okay? Let's be honest. When is the last time this fucking offense was lights out?
Been a while. 2020. 2020, probably. I mean, essentially.
Too long.
You know what I mean?
Too long.
Okay. All right, Entitled Town. All right. Oh, has it been 2 whole years? Oh, no.
Oh, come on. It's longer than that.
A year,
Bro,
1 season, and
be
2
real.
games
Be real.
is what
2015 is really what we're talking about. 2014, 2015. You talk about lights out offense. You talk about you.
They were
you put the
efficient
ball
as hell
in
and
the
set
Green Bay
scoring
Packers
records in
hands.
2020. What are you talking about? No. I disagree vehemently there. Although I will say, right now, I'm really wishing I had used a different clip for the end at the credits, because tonight we've still got the Matt LaFleur clip. Because there was a moment in Transplants where we used that clip where I literally asked Aaron about the 50-50s and the calling the run on a 2nd and 10. And he talks about how, I know you think I'm calling it out of spite. And I'm like, I'm not spite. I didn't say spite. And he laughs, but I'm wishing we had that. But we don't. So
I don't like that one because you interrupt him. I like the coach one better because you just laugh at
says he asks Cheesehead TV.
You're like, not spite.
And I say, that's correct. Because he asks.
It was about to be a good
I only
soundbite
respond because he asks. I didn't ruin it. I didn't ruin anything. He asked if it's.
You ruined it for me, Nagler. You ruined it for me. You know what I'm saying?
Corey.
I like to correct.
I don't think that's the first time I've ruined it for you, and we're still here.
I know.
So we're doing all right.
Here we are.
Elton
also,
Jenkins,
wait. Before you talk about Big
what?
Sexy, we got to talk about we were all bitching about the fact that they called a timeout. So another new identity thing, and Rodgers on his on the Pat show today said that there was a headset failure.
Yes,
and
Matt
that was why
indicated on Monday.
The most egregious timeout was because of the headset failure.
Well, okay, but here's my point. I understand what you're saying. I understand where they're coming from. But let me ask you this. You have this superstar quarterback with autonomy at the line of scrimmage. Can't you just run a fucking play? I'm just... Isn't that your thing? You're the 4-time MVP? Call the play and get going.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I understand. I think the timeouts are way more valuable than because to them it's always like, oh, every play is precious, and then they gain 3 yards on the play out of the timeout.
I don't know about this whole. Has anybody ever done a study if timeouts are valuable though?
Yes, and in the second half they exponentially are.
Okay,
in the first
second half, timeouts are valuable. Yes, but has anybody actually done science? I'm talking about science, Nagler. Science. Has anybody done a mathematical study based on whether timeouts actually have the value that you place on them?
Science on this show. When has that been a thing? Oh, now
also,
we're into science?
I can take this Post-it note where I talk about Elton Jenkins is big sexy. Big sexy. Look, timeout was because of headset failure. Elton Jenkins, big sexy. See, this is my proof to you that I read the script, Nagler. Okay?
This is you doing some research right there. I love it.
I'm doing
proof
work,
that you
son.
do your own research. I like it. I like it. Speaking of Elton Jenkins, talk about sparking the whole line. Talk about Matt LaFleur literally saying we don't win if he's not in there. I mean, shout out to Elton Jenkins coming off a knee injury, looking a little bit rusty at times, but overall powerful, physical, and let's say it, looking sexual because he's big sexy.
Big sexy. I don't think we should even call him Elton Jenkins anymore. We just should call him Big Sexy.
Much like Ryan Pickett was Big Grease. Now we have Big Sexy. I'm down
Big
for
Grease. It. Also, I learned how to say Yosh Nishman from Aaron Rodgers. Yosh Nishman.
Correct.
Never knew that till today, guys. You learn something new every day. Nishman.
Most days.
You didn't know it. You didn't know it.
I did know. I totally knew that.
You said Nyman on the show. I'm just letting you know.
Everyone says Nyman. A fluid wide receiver rotation. That's what we got, people. Stop looking for a number one. Stop looking for, who's the guy? By the way, I'm speaking to defensive coordinators everywhere. You can't roll coverage, baby. You got no idea. You have no clue where it's going.
Here's the thing, though.
You can't and you won't.
Here's the thing, though. Mark my words, people. Romeo Doubs, number one wide receiver by the end of the season. Let's go.
I don't know about the end of the season, but eventually.
In the playoffs, then. In the playoffs.
At some
secret
point
weapon.
I'll say that.
Nope. This year, buddy.
I think he'll be like Devontae.
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to make that kid a star.
I think Devontae, his rookie year, where he had moments throughout the season, that big game against the Cowboys in the playoffs. I think that's where Dobbs will be, right? And I think his star will only ascend. But I don't think it'll be de facto number one by the end of the year. I think that's a bit
okay, well, when I'm right and you're wrong, I will
Can't wait. Can't wait. Please do. Please do. You won't even remember where this tape is. Let's talk about the defense. Let's talk about the fact that it's Kenny Clark's world, people, and we are just living in it. I mean, I love the fact that Kenny Clark, we've all talked about, can we get Kenny some help? Can we get Kenny some help? We've talked about it for years. The Packers go, all right, we're going to try to give you some help. They drafted a kid in the first round. They signed a guy in free agency. They got the maturation of TJ Slayton, Lowry coming off his best season. None of that shit matters because Kenny Clark is still a man among boys. I don't care. Kenny Clark is one of the best players. I'm not talking about at his position, one of the best players in the NFL. And it is time that the national media started giving him his due. Look, I understand we live in a world where Aaron Donald is going to suck up all the oxygen from a national media's perspective, right? I get it. Aaron Donald is amazing. I love Aaron Donald. Love watching him play. But there are other ways to play the game and other ways to win. And Kenny Clark is a fucking man among boys. And I just wish people would start recognizing it because he is absolutely incredible. Down in and down out. You can't single block him. You cannot. You have to have a plan for him. The Buccaneers will definitely have a plan for him. They have to because he will wreck you if you leave him one-on-one in any scenario. I just love Kenny. I love him.
I like Kenny.
That's all.
I like this defensive line. It's good stuff.
Talk about Preston Smith coming to play. Rashawn Gary.
Best game of his career as a Packer.
Love Rashawn getting tons of headlines over the offseason. I think he had a really nice game on Sunday night. But Preston Smith, he's kind of been, I'm going to say second fiddle, but he hasn't been talked about a lot.
Yeah.
God damn, he came to play. He came to play
Wes
week
Hod,
one.
Wes
No one
Hod
talked about
literally
that.
today, I watched an interview today where Wes Hod said it was the best game of Preston Smith's career in Green Bay. So
I mean, it's one of them. It's in the convo. No question about it. To me, and I talked about this on Beer and Ball, his play when Fields tries to run that guitar fake, and Preston's just like, once he recognizes it, it's like he's shot out of a cannon. He just like gone. Like, oh, I've seen this. I've seen this before. And he just ends it. And look, how many times as Packers fans have we seen guys who maybe in that situation get into the backfield, fine, and then get juked out of their shorts or, throw themselves at the quarterback's feet and miss the tackle? Preston comes to balance and goes, where are you going to go, kid? And Fields has no answer. Fields literally basically trips himself trying to get out of it. I mean, shout out to Preston. Just a phenomenal game from Preston Smith.
So basically, Z not being there makes Preston better. That's what I'm.
Well, it's allowed him to come to the fore, and that's, I think, why the Packers made the choice they made. Right, the fact that they could pay one or the other, and they chose Preston. I think Preston's a little bit more bought in, a little bit more team oriented. I ain't afraid to say it. Za'Darius was conspicuous by his absence last night in that Vikings-Eagles tussle. Although he did hit the Eagles quarterback at one point, but for the most part, pretty quiet night from old Z there on national television. Finally, speaking of quiet,
this is crazy.
Corey, have you heard of this thing called a blitz?
Yeah, I have. This is crazy.
Traditionally, it's about like sending multiple guys after the quarterback, trying to enforce something, trying to dictate,
more than
trying
four.
to put pressure on
more
than four dudes. The Packers through 2 games have not blitzed one time.
So I've been thinking about this since you.
Which is amazing.
I've been thinking about this since you said it on the Patreon about an hour ago, and I wonder if this has something to do with Savage's underwhelming play right now. And
in the sense of like not wanting to put someone out on the island?
Trust your safeties. Like you can trust your corners, but it's not like you can always pick by blitzing who is the person you're going to put on that island. And right now, I think many people would argue that Savage is kind of a weak link a little bit.
I guess. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I mean, especially if you're doing a zone blitz, like you're just covering areas. You're not manning up. It's just surprising to me with the talent they have at their disposal that they haven't sent Campbell or Walker one time.
But here's the other thing.
Kind of surprises me.
Here's the flip side to that, right? To your point.
There's a flip side.
If you have Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith.
Am I talking to Joe Barry right now?
You got these guys. 4 men should get the job done. And you're kind of seeing that, right? There's only maybe a handful of snaps where they had that Kirk Cousins and Justin sucks my ass Fields had any time to do anything. God, he sucks. He sucks.
He's not good.
He's terrible. They should trade for Jordan Love, bro. They really should. They should trade us for Jordan Love because he sucks. He's not the answer.
What would you take?
What I don't understand.
What would you take for that
Here's
trade?
my thing.
If Chicago,
you're
Brian Gutekunst, and Poles calls you and says, "Hey, I really want to trade for your bitter division rival." Calls and says, "We want to trade for Jordan Love. What does it take for Behnke to make that move?"
I mean, a first-round draft pick from next year.
That's it.
And some other things. A mix.
Okay.
Mix.
All right.
A little mix.
A trail
sprinkle.
Mix. A trail mix. A spring mix.
A couple practice squad players I've never heard of. That Brian knows about.
I like it.
I don't know that there's anybody on the Bears that we covet. Who do you covet on the Bears?
No, I mean Mooney would be everybody's answer in the offseason, but now I'm not so sure. Robert Quinn.
I mean,
I'll take Robert Quinn. Okay, cool.
But wouldn't a first-round draft pick be better, especially going into the end of the Aaron Rodgers era?
I mean, sure. If you're buying on that, sure. Yeah, 100%.
I'm just saying.
If you're Brian Gutekunst, probably. Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, it's your division rival. I want 2 first-round draft picks.
Okay, but they're not going to give that, though. I'm just saying, help them out a little bit.
But that's what it'll take. Fucking help them out. What have you done with Corey Behnke?
Bro, Have you seen? Okay, Cliff Crystal. So Tuesday night.
Yes, sir.
I had the incredible opportunity Tuesday night as a Packers Hall of Fame member that I am, which you just pay for it. There's nothing special about it. I got to be in the audience with Cliff, and it was incredible because being in the same room as Cliff Crystal is a whole nother level. I learned so many things. I got to ask 2 questions. It was like the first time you ever got to sit in the atrium and ask press conference questions. That's how I feel when I'm in the presence of Cliff, because I always have 2 or 3 like historical questions that I'm ready for.
Oh my God, right?
Like, it's crazy. And this time I was ready. I had 2 really good. I got great answers. But, he puts up this slide that we all know, and I posted it on Twitter the other day. And it's hard to not feel sorry for him a little bit, because you're just like 3 quarterbacks versus like 23 quarterbacks. And you're just like, really? Right. And like, what is it going to take, Chicago? Like, really? You can't, can't you just hire like Luke Getsy or so? Oh, we already did that. Can't you just hire like you need a quarterback whisperer? Like, it's almost like they need the quarterback whispering Brian Gutekunst version of whoever that is in life, right? I don't know who that is. Is that Mike Holmgren? Who the F is that, right? They need someone,
but yes,
they need someone in life that only job in life is to pick the Chicago Bears quarterback, because if they don't do that, they're never going to be good. They're never going to be good.
Maybe it'll happen when they move to Arlington Heights and they shake them and the McCaskies finally sell, and that'll probably happen. And then it'll be a dark day for Packers fans, because we've really enjoyed the McCaskies owning the Bears for the last 20 years, because they've obviously
I don't want to help
in
them.
conjunction with Aaron Rodgers.
It's incredibly unbelievable. It's just incredibly.
Yeah,
especially when you
incredibly
see that list, unbelievable.
Right? That list of quarterbacks, and I know you tweeted it out when the Fields quote came out about how like the fans don't have it as hard as we do because they're not putting in the work. It's like, my brother in Christ, we have gone through 30 fucking quarterbacks. What are you talking about? We haven't put in the work.
But the best is like Cliff shows the slide and he goes, yeah, and if you look at the list, it's a bunch of nobodies. I was just like dying, because that's something I would say for Cliff Crystal to like be like, yeah, look at that list. What a bunch of nobodies.
It's rough, man. It's rough.
Oh, it's genius. I love Cliff.
I love it. I love it so much. All right, real quickly, because we got to get to Blogosphere. Previewing the game on Sunday against the Bucs, bringing things.
Yeah, let's do it.
Back down, serious, soberly. Here we go. It's going to be a tough game. I would expect to see a lot of 5-man line from Joe Barry. It's something that is not prominent, but is definitely one of the kind of tools in the tool belt, so to speak, of the Fangio system that we've seen him employ through kind of judiciously throughout his tenure in Green Bay. I suspect we'll see a lot of 5-man line on Sunday. They can survive with one linebacker, whoever that might be, whether it's Campbell or Walker. I suspect it'll be Campbell. But they got to have beef up front, because, look, I know the Bucs are dealing with injuries all over the place, but including along the offensive line. The Packers have been gashed. They've just been gashed. And not just in the fourth quarter of Sunday night's game. They've been problematic against the run, which is something you didn't think was going to happen after what we saw this summer, both in camp and the joint practices, etc. I suspect we'll see some 5-man line. On the flip side, got to have a plan for Vita Vea. Got it. I mean, the way we were talking about before about Kenny Clark and the Bucs having to have a plan each and every down. I mean, if you're the Packers, God bless Josh Myers. I think he's had an up and down start to the year. Certainly some real highlights when they've asked him to move. Certainly some issues just down to down. But, man, you cannot have asked Josh to block Vita Vea one-on-one in any capacity. You got to have a plan for him each and every down, or he will absolutely wreck the Packers. And then finally, the Evans suspension. I know Packers fans are excited at this prospect. I'm just going to say this, and this is not a real X's and O's breakdown kind of thing, but this is more of a historical feeling as a Packers fan who's been here for 49 years on this planet. Look, we get all excited when the opponent doesn't have their best players, and I understand it because they're good players. But all you got to do is remember the Thanksgiving game where we as Packers fans all thought, oh, the Cowboys are down to their third string quarterback. We're going to roll. And then Jason fucking Garrett comes out, throws all over the yard, and the Cowboys beat the Packers. So the Evans thing, I understand it. I get it. It's no question. You want the fewer great players they have on the field, the better your odds. I understand it. But you still got to show up on Sunday. You still got to play the game, and you still got to win. That's all I want to say about that.
That's all you want to say about that? I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to the fan who saw on Twitter that when I went to the Cliff Crystal history night, Cliff Crystal was asked, what is a Packers team or era that you would love to see if you could go to any one? And Cliff immediately said the 30s and being able to watch Clark Hinkle, who he believes is arguably the greatest Green Bay Packer of all time ever to live. And I tweeted it out. And I want to give a shout out to the fan who sent me two, and I haven't even shared this with you, Nagler.
No, you haven't.
Game footage from 1930 that his father, who was 96, took 92 something year. His father's dead now, but took 92 years ago. And he had it on his Apple iCloud, and he shared his Apple iCloud. And I watched it, and it's two games. It's Packers versus Badgers. Yes, the Packers played the Badgers. They were not the Wisconsin Badgers, but they were from Madison. And the Packers versus the Cardinals. Okay, and here's what's incredible.
Which back then were the Bears. That's amazing.
Yep.
That's amazing.
You get to see it. Is so incredible. It's literally his grandfather taking 16 millimeter footage on the sideline, and I'm trying to figure out.
He's at the game.
Yes, it's game footage. It's literally game. I've never seen it in my life. Never even. And then he sent me a picture of the two 16 millimeter rolls sitting at NFL Films archive because he actually sent the film. So he got the film digitized, right? Wow. And then he sent the film to NFL Films to prove that it's from those games. I mean, it's incredible. You see what's great. You see the band coming out, and when you shoot on 16 millimeter, it is very hard. For those of you that have never shot film, the fact that somebody had a 16 millimeter safety camera and is shooting film, and you can tell he tries to do a play and then it cuts off, and it's incredible. It is incredible. It's going to be playing in my tailgate room forever and ever. Amen. And it's one of the greatest things. And honestly, it might be the greatest thing that's ever happened to me as a Packer fan.
Can we put that on the CHTV YouTube channel?
Well, here's what I'm trying to figure out. Technically, I think it's in the public domain.
I was just going to say, is it in the public domain at this point?
I was going to ask him first. Well, there's a lot of rules around public domain and copyright.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Of course. But
also,
you absolutely 1,000% should ask permission.
Also, the Green Bay Packers, as you might know where I live, and they know my number, and they know all my digits, and they regularly...
Corey, it ain't hard to find you.
They regularly talk to me, Nagler, and not everything they say is good, as you know. So, yeah.
I'm aware.
I try not to pick on bullies, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they're a bully, but they're a lot bigger than me. And, I try not to pick on people that are bigger than me.
But wait a second. Isn't Nagler bigger than us and you went after them?
Yeah, that was fun, though. I think it's funny that...
Shout out to Nagler, by the way. That tweet was brilliant. That was really...
I think it's funny that they
acknowledged it. I know. Because you didn't tag them. We didn't tag them at all. Okay, well, we're talking about Blogosphere stuff. Let's get to Blogosphere, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
This week in the Packer Blogosphere!
That's right! It's this week in the Packer Blogosphere, the return of that venerable series. All right, well, we're dancing and we're up and we're having a good time, but I got to bring it down, Corey. I got to bring it down. I'm sorry. I know we'll get to some fun stuff in a little bit here in the Blogosphere, but I cannot, in good conscience, continue on without addressing this in the aspect of, look, the Green Bay Packers are clearly a passion of mine and Corey's, and CHTV exists because of the Green Bay Packers. And we try to at least comment on everything that happens in the sphere of the Packers, whether it's, big, small, meaningful, silly, whatever. I have come to a point in my life where I have to say this into a camera and into a microphone. Fuck Brett Favre. I'm done. I'm over it. For the longest time, I excused it. I turned a blind eye. I tried to compartmentalize my feelings about the man. I understand there are plenty of people, especially my age, who understand what he means football-wise to fans who grew up in the 70s and 80s and felt the magic of Favre on the football field and what he meant to us emotionally for a team and a franchise and a fan base who was resigned to the fact that we would never be good again. We'd never, ever, ever see the postseason, let alone a Super Bowl. People do not understand. And Cliff Christl has written about this when it comes to Favre's impact on the franchise, not the team, the franchise. The Packers were ready to fold. The whispers had begun, not just possibly moving them to Milwaukee, but like folding. Those, that sounds fantastical now, but those were real conversations being had, both in Green Bay and in the league office. Brett Favre changed all of that. Brett Favre changed everything about my relationship to the Packers in the sense of giving us as fans hope. And for the longest time, regardless of whatever happened off the field with the man, I was able to see past it. I was able to say, I understand some bad stuff, but there was always a but in my mind because of how he helped the Green Bay Packers and what it meant to me and myself. And that was entirely selfish, and I completely understand that. I stand here today after the revelations regarding his involvement in defrauding Mississippi welfare recipients, and I say to you into camera, fuck Brett Favre. I'm over it. And I speak as a guy who is able to get on the dance floor when Michael Jackson plays. I'm able to watch Annie Hall. I'm able to separate the art from the artist, so to speak, as people like to say, parlance of our times. I'm able to now sit here and say, you know what? Brett's involvement with the Packers when they were turning from also ran downtrodden Siberia, the NFL, into an NFL powerhouse, he is a big part of that. He is the most important part of that. But I can also sit here and tell you...
He's the second most important part of that.
But I can also sit here and say, fuck Brett Favre. Everything that's coming out regarding his texting with the former governor of Mississippi, knowingly diverting funds that were meant for the most disadvantaged people in society, fuck Brett Favre. Forever. That's all I have to say about it.
Awesome.
Anything to add there, Behnke?
No, but we did get someone. I'm kind of excited because somebody who's a lawyer on the chat said that they might help us pro bono with the footage from 1930.
With the footage? There we go. It'll be on the CHTV YouTube channel.
The only thing I'm going to say about the demise of the Green Bay Packers is kind of what Cliff Christl says. Cliff Christl goes back to like I hear you, and I hear you like they were like. In the history of the Green Bay Packers, the default level of the Green Bay Packers is they were always about to fold. It literally is only the Lombardi years and 1994 to now. That's it. And actually, there's a longer term of the Green Bay Packers have spent more time in the default mode about to be done than they have even a 13 championship and really a 14 championship. Let's be real, because in 1932,
we'll have a separate. We need to make a video about that, by the way. Yes, 1,000%.
Okay, there should be 14 championships. The NFL chose how they did ties and wins, and it was kind of arbitrary. And if they did that now, it would be 14 championships. It's kind of bullshit. It's my next beat a dead horse thing, but I'll wait on that. Anyway, no, I mean, look,
I want to say wait. Before you say anything else, I will say I only say this in regards to Favre basically saving the franchise because Cliff has written it. Cliff wrote it on Packers.com.
He did save the franchise, but he could have came if Reggie White wouldn't have come to the franchise. Favre could not have saved the franchise.
100%. I very much agree.
Without Reggie White,
there's no question.
Reggie White is the number one reason. Brett Favre and Reggie White together,
no doubt. Yes.
Reggie
no
White
question.
had one of the largest impacts, maybe next to Lombardi, really, if you think about it, because
No doubt about
he paved the way for Black players to be able to play here and be taken seriously again. And
No doubt.
I would say that Mark Murphy has done a little bit to tarnish that legacy, because we still have not heard from the Green Bay Police Department based on whether they're going to ban a police officer from the
Remember they were
soccer
going to have
game.
that internal
Remember
investigation.
they were going to do they're going to do an investigation, and nobody heard about the investigation. So
that was back in July. How's that
that was
investigation
literally
going, boys?
I actually was going to go to a press conference for the police department just to ask them, because literally no one has asked them what happened with your investigation of AJ Dillon. But I digress. Look, we have all looked past this Favre thing. We're all culpable, and that's what I said to Nagler in the pregame. We're all culpable. What he did to Jen Sturger, what he did, when he was here. Like, he always was this dude, and we kind of excused it, and that goes to our culture and everything we're doing. And yeah, it's kind of sad.
I will say, though, shout out to Mississippi Today for clearly putting Favre in a Vikings uniform. Vikings legend Brett Favre, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
Let's get on to happier topics, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's talk about your appearance at the Resch Center at the Plaza Pit Stop on Sunday, which Packers fans, you can find either Corey or myself every home game 3 hours prior to kick. Come on down to the Plaza Pit Stop. We got a little video for you. Nicholas, roll it. Man, good job by Tyler picking up that music. That was
shout out to Cass, Len, some of our Patreons who came out. I ended up buying $160 worth of Patreon beers on Sunday. Anybody who could prove that they were a Patreon or Carry the G member, I bought them a beer, and those beers were the most expensive, and we sold out. So there you go.
Awesome.
And I didn't buy them all, people. Okay, I only bought 16 beers, and we had 7 or 8 cases there.
Cases, right?
Yeah, we had cases. Also, I did get to hand. You see that video? Steve Zabe and Josh were there, producers for the game. We're there.
Yes.
I'm still waiting. Steve and Josh. I'm still waiting for your Carry the G review, by the way.
Interesting. You mean they haven't delivered on a promise? Interesting. That's funny how that works.
No, they didn't promise, but I'm just like, hey, I handed you a beer and you didn't even tell me what you thought about it. Also, got to hand a beer to Gilbert Brown, which is always great to see Gilbert Brown.
Dude, that's so amazing.
He did not drink it. He did not drink it. I thought about saying, hey, Gilbert, if I pay you to drink this, will you drink it? But, he got it. He got it in his hand. That's all that matters.
Though.
But
he was there.
If you're coming to a home game, either myself or Nagler are going to be there at the Plaza Pit Stop at the Resch Center. It's actually a nice little place. You can see like everything around
it's really
you.
Cool.
And,
I love it.
Yeah, it's a cool little spot
and bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Very open, very easy to get to, and a lot of fun. So yeah, join us 3 hours before kickoff every home game. We'll be there. I'll be there.
We'll be there.
I'll be there, and then sometimes Nagler will be there.
I'll be there intermittently, once or twice. But if you for sure want to find Corey and myself someplace where they're serving Carry the G, where you might be
this weekend,
either in a can or on tap, even
Milwaukee.
Come on out to Scout
in
Shorewood this Saturday night from 5 to 8 p.m. at Scout Wine Merchants. Corey and I will be there in Milwaukee for the launch of Carry the G in the Milwaukee area. We are thrilled. Shout out to Emily and Luke at Scout for hosting us. It's going to be a lot of fun, people. I hope to see you there. They're going to have a food truck. They're going to have music. It's going to be a lot of fun. Corey and I will be there. They'll be Carry the G beer. What more do you need? What more do you need? Hope to see you all there.
It's going to be fun.
It's exciting, Corey. Corey,
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's kind of crazy. And it's a good beer, actually. It's good beer. Everybody, so far, people like it. It's very good beer.
It's
not just me.
It's real easy. It's real
tasty.
easy to drink. It's somewhat problematic in the regard, in the sense of like you have one and then all of a sudden you have four and you haven't even
sold out in
really
Green
thought
Bay.
about it. Yeah,
we sold out, baby. It's great.
Somebody
on the chat on the game was like, well, if you only sell 4 cases, then you can easily sell out. I'm like, really?
I know, right? And it's like, buddy.
Very rude. It's very
buddy,
rude.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Fogging up in this sunroom. I don't like
man,
it.
because you're the hotness.
I don't
all
like
right,
it,
so let's it's time to get to super chats, Corey. People be like, saying like, hey, yo, what's up? Cheesehead TV. So let's say hi to the people.
They're in there.
What's going on?
Corey, can you give my brother Austin? Oh, let me go to the queue. Sorry. Corey, can you give my brother Austin a shout out? He's a huge fan of you and your commentary. Austin, what's up? How's it going? Thanks for watching the show. Appreciate you a lot. Then we got a super chat from Uncultured Barbarian. What would it take to get a Behnke on the Beat segment on this show? What's Behnke on the Beat? What is that?
This is something that Uncultured has talked about on Packers Daily for a long time. He basically wants you to do a review of the beat reporters every week.
Oh dear. Yeah. The problem is
yes.
that
everything you just said? Yes.
Do I really need to make more enemies in life? I almost have all the beat as friends. I don't need to make them enemies.
Yeah, you're in a good spot now with the beat. Let's not rock it.
Uncultured,
rock that
Uncultured's going 3 in a row here. This is crazy. Please, someone turn Behnke's Badgers hate into the old man yelling at clouds meme from The Simpsons. I hate the Wisconsin Badgers. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't like the Wisconsin Badgers.
My favorite.
How crappy of a team do you have to be? Is the only way you can win is to play New Mexico fucking State.
Thank you.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's not even a team.
All the teams this year have like scheduled like homecoming like 3 times to start.
It's trash. It's trash.
But
College is trash right now.
Remember last year when the Badgers like had Penn State right out of the gate and then lost? It's like, yeah, okay, if you want to schedule cream puffs. Here's the other thing. They scheduled 3 cream puffs and they still lost once.
The Harlem Globetrotters are better than New Mexico State. Okay? Let's be real.
I love it.
Let's just be real.
I love it so much.
Uncultured. Another one. Geez, this afternoon Behnke is a Monaco and Persian cat away from being a Bond supervillain. That's hilarious. Ryan Wiley. Thanks for super chat, Uncultured. Ryan Wiley. The next former Packer that should be in the Hall of Fame is Sharp, number 84. I can get down with that.
Amen. 1,000%. Totally agree.
I think he should be in the Packers Hall. He is in the Packers Hall of Fame already.
Yes.
He is, right?
And he should absolutely be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I think he should be in the pro.
We got better numbers than Michael Irvin, who was like a first ballot. Yes, 1,000%.
I hear you, but Michael Irvin won the Super Bowl. But I hear you. That's not so. I don't understand. Luke Carnes, loving what you guys have done for years. I think I've been following you since 08, 09. I'm going to sneak carry the G out here to San Diego. Thanks for what you do, Luke. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. Luke,
appreciate
you are such a diehard. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, buddy.
Josh Dunbar, thanks for Super Chat and eggs. My wife and I are coming to Green Bay for our first home game against Dallas in November. We'll be on row 1 near the 50. Damn. Okay,
Let's
baller.
Go.
What stuff should we do that weekend? All right, so we need to put a link. We need to put a link in the chat. The new Heritage Trail video we just came out with. You might have missed it. You know, I know you watched my cocktail video. We're about to come out with an unboxing video tomorrow. I know you're so enthralled with all my content right now that you might have missed the Heritage Trail video that came out. Sean Connolly, who's on the staff at LiveX, he's from Green Bay. He did an incredible job. It's an 8-minute video. It is on our YouTube page. We need to put the link on there. Watch that. I talked to 5 or 6 people at the Plaza Pit Stop who said, "Oh my God, I watched that video and I did those things and it was incredible."
Awesome.
And it was
incredible.
Great. Yeah, it was really great. So watch that. And then we're going to come out with more.
We have the Aaron Nagler things to do in Green Bay video, so we'll put both of those.
It's true.
Mine are all about going to bars, but it's all good. But
that's
yes, both of those. We'll put those. I'll link those both in the description of the video when we're done, and also on the blog post on cheeseheadtv.com. Make sure you look out for those. But yes, Josh, plenty to do in Green Bay when you guys come out.
Omega, if you want me to be on Locked On Packers, you need to talk to Peter Bukowski and get him on there. That would be fun, actually. That would be fun.
I've been on Locked On Packers. You know what I would do?
If I was on Locked On Packers, I would be like, okay, I'll go on Locked On Packers, Peter. But here's the thing. I'm going to do the top 5 tweets that you've ever tweeted that I fucking can't stand. And if you can put up with that,
and if you can defend yourself,
I'll be on your show. So get me on the show.
No,
people.
Wait,
everybody tweet at Peter, and we'll get me on the show, and it'll be funny.
That show will do numbers. That'll do numbers.
That show will do, bro. That show will do so many numbers. Come on,
what
are we getting here? Chatterhead, thanks for super chat. Flying to Tampa, going to the game. Seats are 10 rows behind the Bucs bench. Gonna drink way too much and scream, "Where's Giselle?" over and over at Tom. This is either gonna work
no! Don't do
or
that.
completely
don't
backfire. Why not? I would do
don't
it.
Do that.
Do it.
No.
Just do it.
No.
Just do it. Don't be afraid. Don't listen to Nagler, whatever you do. Kevin Sullivan, thanks for the super chat. Attorney fees for adding that 1930s Packer footage on your website. And yes, FBF. What's FBF?
There you go.
What did I miss?
Fuck
What's
Brett
FBF?
Favre, I believe.
Yeah. Gotcha. And then Kevin's the one who said he's not an attorney. I took that super chat to be like, oh, you're an attorney? You're going to off. So this is how crazy I am.
Not an attorney.
Like I literally read that and was like, oh, you're an attorney and you're going to give us pro bono help. There's literally nothing in there that says that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
You were wishful thinking. We've all been guilty. It's all good.
That's all we got for supers. That's all.
That
thank you everybody for the super chat. Appreciate
and thank you to all our
thank
Patreon members out there. Listen, if you're a Patreon member, we cannot thank you enough. The Patreon meetup will be happening in December.
Yep.
Look out soon for information about it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Charlene ready to throw down. Charlene, who is a super Patreon member.
And also somebody said that they were going to be at the Patriots game. We are going to be at Plaza Pit Stop.
Yes,
for the Patriots.
Of course.
So that is your way. If you want to see myself or Nagler, that's the way to meet up with us.
Be there, folks. Be there. And also a shout out to Carry the G members here on YouTube. If you're a creature YouTube, you love having your name highlighted, special access to creative emojis, creative being underlined. Carry the G. All you got to do is hit join on the desktop version of YouTube. We cannot thank both the Patreon members and Carry the G Club members. You guys really support everything about CHTV, the lifeblood of the website and the brand. Thank you so much.
100%.
Really
and shout out to Dom Ross 10 with the super chat. Can't wait till I carry the G on Saturday. Amped all the way from Whitewater, Wisconsin. Appreciate
Let's
you.
go.
Fellas. That's next. So this week, everybody in Wisconsin, basically you can get Carry the G. You'll be able. We're reloading on Thursday in Green Bay. So Festival Foods, we'll have the list on our site. Festival Foods, Woodman's, Ridgeview Liquor,
it's up right now. I put
Wine
it all
Cellar
up
and
there.
De Pere.
It's up on the
and
site
then
right now.
This weekend, Milwaukee, we launch in Milwaukee, and then hopefully next week in Madison. But if you're wondering, check out our site where you can get Carry the G, and let us know. Send us a photo. Send us your thoughts, your feelings, your feedback. Overshadow Sean, thanks for super chat. Got that in there, and that's all I got, people. My glasses are fogging up. Lambo's getting dark, and it's time for me to have a beer.
That'll do it for this episode of Packer Transplants Live. We'd like to thank everyone who makes Cheesehead TV part of their daily Packers routine. We are and will always be devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide.
I think it's a fluid situation, and I know you guys love it, especially Nagler. I can see you smirking at me right there. We're going to take it one day at a time, and it's going to be fluid, though. That's all I can tell you.